Hello booktubers. Thought I'd do a video about my favourite Shakespeare play because it's Midsummer's Day. Well, it is tomorrow anyway, so A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'm no Shakespeare scholar. This is just my impressions of it and what I like about it. So it's not going to be a scholarly thesis. The play was written in 1595-6, the winter, according to Harold Bloom, when Shakespeare was perhaps pining for the summer days like we've got today. And Bloom calls it his great masterpiece. It's my favourite of all his plays. I like Macbeth as well, but the complete opposite spectrum, really. And I first came across it, I think, when I was a child, and I saw a production, a BBC play of the day, where they had Ronnie Barker, comedian, playing Bottom. And Bottom's a central character of the play, really. He's a comic fool, but he is the central character. He's the one who has his head turned into an ass's head. And it's a pastoral. It's set in Athens, except it's not. It's very English to my mind. It's an English pastoral play. Shakespeare chose to set it in Athens for some reason. Maybe it appealed to his audience, something at that time. So anyway, I see it as very English, and but it begins with Theseus, who was obviously a Greek hero. Theseus is getting married to Hippolyta, and it begins with the opening scene where they are discussing their forthcoming marriage. And while they're doing that, a man called, I'm going to go over there, Aegeus, an old man, appears and complains about his daughter won't do as she's told. She won't marry the man he's chosen for her husband, Demetrius. She instead is in love with Lysander. So there's a bit of friction there, and it seems like the rules of the city at that time explained there are that if she doesn't obey her father, she will be executed or sent to a nunnery. So she has to choose. And that's the beginning of it. The next scene is what are called the rude mechanicals, I think, where there's a group. Come on then. There's a group who are putting on a play, Pyramus and Thisbe, for the wedding. So they're the comic characters, and they are great, really. Bottom and Snug and various other characters. Who are they? I can't remember now who they all are. They're coming together, and they're obviously completely incompetent, but it's very, very funny. I think Shakespeare's comedies, you see comedy in quotes now in a way, because a lot of the comedies are not very funny, are they? They've not stood the test of time. They're funny in the same way Don Quixote is funny, i.e. not at all. But A Midsummer Night's Dream is funny. It's great. It's hilarious. And Bottom particularly is hilarious. There's one bit where I think it's is it Snug? He asks what part he's going to play, and the director, again I'm going to have to look at it to find out who it is, says which one of them it is. Anyway, he says, "You're playing the lion." And he said, "Oh, could you give me a script? Because I'm very bad at learning lines." And he says, "Well, all it is roaring." And then, of course, Bottom says, "I'll play the lion. I could roar, I'll frighten everybody." And then they start going on about that. But that won't do. We'll all be put in prison if you frighten the ladies. We'll have a notice beforehand saying I'm not a real lion. So anyway, the whole thing is hilarious. So they're the real people, and then simultaneously there's a level of the fairyland appears, which begins with Oberon and Titania. Oberon is the king of the fairies, Titania is the queen of the fairies, but they're in dispute because Oberon has stolen a child from Titania, and she has forsworn his bed and won't have anything to do with him. So when they meet up, there's the famous line, "Ill met by moonlight, proud Titania." So, all right. So that's that dispute is the root of the play in a way. Where are you going? Go on. It's the root, in some ways, of the play, because Oberon wants revenge on Titania. So he's got a servant, kind of a servant, a minion called Puck, Robin Goodfellow, and he orders Puck to go and find this herb, which will, you sprinkle it on the eyes of a person when they're asleep, and when they wake up they will fall in love with the first thing they see. So he orders Puck to get this. They will put it on Titania's eyes, and then when she wakes, he's hoping she'll see a bear or a bull or a wolf and fall in love with it. Of course, what happens is she sees Bottom and falls in love with Bottom. Now, Harold Bloom makes a point that a lot of theorists and critics of late have said that Midsummer Night's Dream is about sexual violence and bestiality, and he disputes that. And I think, you know, it's this thing about with Bottom and Titania, but Bottom the Weaver is not violent to Titania falls in love with Bottom, but he kind of can't understand it. He's baffled. He's got this ass's head on, but he doesn't do anything. He's a gentle fool, really. So I think this dark reading of it is mistaken, and it's a shame. It sort of takes away the charm. To me, it is a very charming play. There are some dark bits in it. I think it's a play, to me, it's a play about passion and about enchantment. We're all enchanted in some way or another, possibly, but here the enchantment is often done through a spell or a potion, and but that's just an artifice to talk about it. And one of the themes I find in the play is one about disruption of the natural order, if you like. It sounds a bit extreme, but a kind of environmental theme. The nature begins to break down in the play. It makes it clear, and it's because of the dispute between, it's not the humans, it's the dispute between Oberon and Titania that causes this breakdown. So it says the nine man's Morris is covered up in mud, contagious fogs, the ear rots on the corn, and the summer is full of floods. So there's all that kind of thing going on there, that everything is going awry. And then the other side of that is the way that the characters, most of the characters, apart from Theseus and Hippolyta, exit the city. It's Athens, but it's probably really Stratford-on-Avon, possibly, or Birmingham, somewhere like that. But they go off into the wood, and there's this, you know, sense of the wood being a place of disorder and mystery, and the irrational. The rational breaks down. Things don't go as they should, and they're all affected. So we have three parties in the wood. We have the four lovers, like Demetrius and Lysander, Helena and Hermia, and then the rude mechanicals, which is Bottom and his pals, and then we have the fairies. And once they get deeper into the wood, there begins to be an interaction between the fairies. There's these, we call them fairies, and the human realm. They interact. And for the most part, the humans can't see the fairies, but the fairies see them. And they begin to meddle in their affairs, or Oberon does. he decides he's upset by the dispute of the lovers, so he tries to remedy that and gets Puck to do it. But Puck is a very mischievous character, and whether he does it deliberately or not, we're not sure, but he disrupts things, and he has to go and make amends later on. So so that's interesting. And the fairy folk, again, I'm going to say it's very English. Puck is an English folk character, Robin Goodfellow. But Oberon and Titania, I think Oberon comes from Greek mythology, and so does Titania, I think. So there's a mixture there going on. But it's a very good plot. It's a complex plot. And apparently it's one of the few original plots that Shakespeare devised. He used to mainly use existing stories from things like Ovid, or from the histories, or just telling a historical story in the Henry plays and things like that. But this one is, I think, one of only 3 that are original whole stories, original stories. Yeah. There's a whole range of comedians have played Bottom, including James Cagney, who wasn't a comedian, but funny that he should play. I think he plays Bottom. But anyway, amongst the others were Dawn French, female comedian here, who played Bottom. Who else was there? Benny Hill, Frankie Howard. So I think they must have found something highly comic in it, and I agree there is. It's brilliantly comic to my mind, and the joy. But Harold Bloom says he's never saw, every production he's seen of it has been disastrous. I wouldn't say, I've seen a few productions. I don't go to the theatre that much, but I've seen a few productions. I fear when they modernise it too much, you lose the charm. Sometimes it's been set in like a factory. So one in York where it was set in a factory or something for some odd reason. It just, I don't know, it didn't make any sense. I suppose directors have got to try to find a new angle, or they feel they have. But do you need to, really? The play speaks for itself, and there are lots of interesting themes in it, aren't there? Yeah. I thought I'd finish off and read Puck's final speech, which I love this. There's a lot of good poetry in this play, a lot of rhyme, but good poetry anyway. Oh. Can I see this? I'll have to try. Should have memorised it, shouldn't I? If we shadows have offended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme, no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend, if if you pardon we will mend, and as I am an honest puck, if we have unearned luck, now to scape the serpent's tongue we will make amends ere long, else the puck a liar call. So good night unto you all, give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. So that's lovely. So that's about restoration. Thank you very much, BookTube. I'm just going to finish off with this little song. I had to let Merlin go back in the house. He wouldn't get off my shoulder, so I don't think I could do it with him sat there. Anyway, this is a song I wrote really based on the play A Midsummer Night's Dream, and it's called The Iron Tongue. Because there's a very clever pun at the end of the play where Theseus says, "The iron tongue of midnight has told 12." And the song explores the sort of environmental theme of the play, if there is one. I'm reading it into it, but anyways, I'm playing the part of Bottom. My head feels hairy and heavy, I feel I'm in some dream without why or wherefore. Demetrius and Lysander wander searching for someone to kill or die for, and none of us seems able to help ourselves, ringing out a warning, a distant bell. The iron tongue of midnight has told 12. The wood is deep and darker, now I can't remember who I thought I was. Some strange creature loves me, while old friends run away and scatter in the bush. And I lie here listening to that distant bell, thinking thoughts no man can tell. And the iron tongue of midnight has told 12. Our passions lead us by the nose into dark places where we know we shouldn't go. We don't see the thorn as we reach for the rose. Can we wake from enchantment before the bell tolls? The seasons are awry, it seems the nine man's Morris is covered up in morn. The year rots on the corn, frost in summer and the field are full of floods. Poor watches full of mischief, laughing to himself. What fools these mortals be, they'll destroy themselves. As the iron tongue of midnight has told 12. The iron tongue of midnight has told 12. Thank you, BookTube, on this beautiful summer's evening in Yorkshire.